Hey guys, Liana here, and why are we on the Oculus webpage? Well, because their press screener was today, their big pre E3 press screener, and I watched it. And I wanted to give my thoughts on it because, well, I wrote an article about it, but I know a lot of you guys don't read for various reasons. And I used to be like, read the article instead. But I've been schooled on that. And, some people listen to these as podcasts while they're doing other stuff, and that's cool. I try not to make things terribly image driven because of that. But yeah, so what did we learn about the Oculus products and the Oculus Rift? Well, as you're seeing here, this is the actual consumer design that was unveiled. And we have the Oculus Touch, which to me is the coolest part. They didn't talk about Gear VR much, which was too bad because I was looking forward to that. But the Oculus Touch was the big thing that I'm like, that's cool. I'm glad I watched for that. I'm really looking forward to trying out the Oculus Touch controllers because if they work, it could be a really different, new, innovative experience. And that's what we're looking for with games. The rest of the presentation was extremely disappointing. And I'm not saying I feel like the Oculus Rift as a device is disappointing. I'm saying that the presentation did not do the technology justice. Now, there are some design issues with the Oculus Rift. It looks ridiculous being worn, and it looks ridiculous in a way that, the Project Morpheus headset from last year doesn't. It just looks, it's this big black space where someone's eyes should be. It's a dead design, and that's too bad. The Morpheus design looks cool and all space age and kind of Daft Punk, with the lights and a little bit of white and the whole thing. Sony knows how to make things that look pretty, but the Oculus Rift looks like orthodontic headgear combined with blue blocker glasses. It might be great for a hangover, but it's not so awesome for the way it looks. Even the promo stills of it, people look vaguely pained instead of looking like they were having fun. It just doesn't look comfortable to wear. And, I made some jokes on Twitter about, well, gaming's dorky again. It became too acceptable to be seen with a controller in your hands. We had to put this stupid, piece of headgear on that makes us embarrassed to be seen gaming again. And some people got a little snarky, like, doesn't matter if you're in the privacy of your own home. Well, not all of us live alone, guys. Some of us don't get a ton of, total privacy. So, this is, it's not a good idea to have a device for a niche market. It's fine when you start, but to get real market expansion, it has to hit the mainstream. And I don't personally believe the Oculus design has mainstream appeal. I think the Morpheus headset has a much greater mainstream design. I wouldn't be embarrassed to be photographed in the Morpheus headset from last year. They may change it radically, who knows. But the Oculus Rift, I admit, it's self-consciousness inducing. But I think if it's a really cool experience, people won't care, and it'll be that sort of thing like, the yellow nerd glasses I wear that you're self-conscious about at first, but if it works, if it does what it's supposed to do, you don't care anymore. I didn't see very much from their software offerings. The way those things were presented, they just seemed like regular games. I didn't see any real reason why they had to be VR games. I mean, 2 of them appear to be third-person experiences. And what's the point of virtual reality that's third-person? I don't get it. It was that Insomniac thing, and I can't tell. They didn't show very much of it at all. It seems to be third person. But then there was that other RPG, Chaos or something like that. That one, the designs on that one were the most exciting for me. But again, it's this kid running around with a sword and shield. It's not you in an environment. So unless there's an element of the Ludo narrative that they didn't show there, I'm confused. And then of course they showed Eve Valkyrie, which to me just looks like Wing Commander HD. And I'm sure there's more to the game. I'm sure of it. But they just didn't show it. The presentation was boring and lacked any sort of sparkle or any sort of, excitement. I can't get excited about a developer's product if the developer does not seem excited about their product, right? And so many of those people presenting seemed terrified to be in front of a crowd. They didn't dress as if, they were talking to the world. They dress like schlubs, and we're not supposed to care about that in gaming, but you're selling your product. Show that you respect your audience by dressing a little bit nicer than you normally would. I know the suit is counter to gaming, but do something exciting. At least the Shirtgate guy got people talking, not for the reasons he wanted, but he got people talking. Do something that shows I put extra care into myself today because I respect you, I respect your dollars. But there was more to it than that. Why, in a company as big as I assume Oculus is, and, they had partners from Xbox, and, the Insomniac guy was okay. And the president of Oculus, I guess he was the CEO, the guy at the end, he was there. He was excited, and he was like, yeah, my stuff's the best. And that's what I want. That's what I want, that energy, because his excitement, it's infectious. But the 5 or 6 people before him, they were so reliant on the teleprompter. And so, the lone woman in the presentation who was wearing a plaid shirt with unstyled hair, and these things are not supposed to matter, and I'm not saying she didn't look pretty. It has nothing to do with that. It's that she looked like she didn't want to be there. And that's a different criticism in terms of how you're put together. It's not a would bang, would not bang thing. No, it's not about that. Do you respect the forum you are coming into? I don't need people to look like models. I just want them to seem to want to be there. And like they weren't pushed on stage against their will by somebody who, we need a woman there. Go out. Take one for the team. But she tried to do this anecdote about Sierra adventure games and things like that as a kid. But it was clearly being read off a teleprompter. So it's, the Sierra adventure games were standing things in my household as a, and then she checked the prompter, child. It was like that. Yeah, I believe your story that you couldn't even recall enough to not read it off the teleprompter. And these are the moments that make some people really great ambassadors and really great salespeople for gaming and gaming tech, and other people not so much. You go to any press conference that somebody like Cliff Bleszinski or even I think Ken Levine attends, you'll see everybody else's dialogue if you sit at the side. And I like to do that because I like to see the teleprompter to know what's coming up, because it means I can have it typed to tweet out or something like that. But you'll just see Cliffy B speaks when it comes to his presentation. And that's because he's doing it totally from either memory or off the cuff. Because he believes in his products, he knows his products, and he's personable enough and experienced enough that he can go out there and talk to a crowd and rev people up and get them excited and sell his product and do it like a pro. And that is your job in these press conferences. And I'm not saying that Oculus is alone in this. I took a course on public speaking, and I have been told to enunciate and speak slowly and give people time to write down, because it got so bored that you might as well be a computer voice. Because we invited your friend, the companion cube, but you killed him. So sad. Like, we get closer and closer and closer to a freaking, the bridge on the Enterprise voice. She had more freaking sizzle than some of these people at these press conferences. And I mean, if you're going to have a voice voiced by a computer, isn't it much more cool to have someone talking like this? Because this is the old sort of voice recognition software that it doesn't even sound like this anymore. But it's cool, right? It sounds like something outside the box. The cadences shift, so you pay attention. Also, you're waiting for the snarky trash talk from Portal. But this is, and it made me think, oh, good God, we're going to have to sit through, how many have I got at E3? 4 in person and more online in one day. One blinking day. And that's why I'm so glad that Ubisoft has Asia Tyler coming back, because she's personable and she's funny and she's used to addressing crowds, and so she ad-libs and she seems present, and she's not reading a school book report on stage in front of millions of people around the world. I mean, there were 300,000 people just watching live on that Twitch thing. And they can do better. I know you want your real employees and all that stuff, but I think it's actually a better use of money to pay someone with public speaking skills like Ubisoft does. Or, you have those CEOs at, Sony or Microsoft that actually know how to do a presentation. They know how to hold a crowd. You need that now, because it's too competitive. It's not enough to be just enough anymore. And I hope that the stuff that Oculus shows it at E3 is more exciting, more outside the box, and more informative than the stuff they showed today. Because if you want to be seen as an innovator, guys, if you want to be seen as a trendsetter in the industry, your presentation better reflect that. And this press briefing today, it just didn't.